So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Cancer Navamsa, meaning Cancer rising in your D9 Navamsa chart. This is the Navamsa series. And we're going to try to understand what does it mean when you have Cancer ascendant in your Navamsa. And we can easily see without it, we can erase all the planets and we can easily see what is this person's karma later in life. What is this person's, interaction through marriage will be like in their life. And as always, if you do not know, if you have a Cancer Navamsa, Cancer D9 chart, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report. Under the shop section, where on the second page you'll see your Navamsa chart with all the planets, and in your birth chart you'll see the planets and nakshatras in your birth chart and all the other astrological details. So check out the links here, including all my consultations, my Navamsa consultations, my new Navamsa consultations. But remember, the degree of the Navamsa and the nakshatras of the Navamsa are only given in nakshatra of the Navamsa reading, the Navamsa nakshatra reading, not the regular report. So, Navamsa, Cancer Navamsa ascendant. Well, first of all, you have to know that through fire, earth, and water, the emotions of Cancer, emotions of Navamsa is felt. That means if you have a fire ascendant like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in your main birth chart, or Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn in your main birth chart, or Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces in your main birth chart, the fourth padha will be landing itself in Cancer. Meaning, what are padhas? Padhas are simply the four parts to a constellation. So we're looking at a normal zodiac sign, right? In Vedic astrology, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Well, each zodiac sign has constellations, 2 or 2¼ constellation, and each constellation has 4 parts, known as padhas. Padhas 1, padha 2, padha 3, padha 4. So the fourth padha of these constellations that I said that are happening in the sign of, in the fire signs, earth signs, and water signs will be landing themselves in Cancer, in Navamsa. So, the first thing that you will realize, okay, with the Cancer Navamsa is that for you, life circumstances and life situations will eventually make you very sensitive and emotional towards life in general, towards everything that is around you. That's the very first thing. So especially, let's say you have a fire ascendant, you're an Aries or Leo. By fighting your ego, by fighting, and displaying a masculine energy to the world, and especially failing at those energy, you will finally embrace this feminine energy within you. And what happens, especially with this particular zodiac sign, fires, the fourth pada of the fires, nakshatras, is that such people make themselves look like a much hardcore and ironclad lion or a masculine personality, just because they do not want to show their internal sensitive side, their internal emotional and motherly side. Then if, let's say, you have a earth ascendant in a birth chart, so let's say you're a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn ascendant in your main birth chart. Well, the thing is, trying to achieve all the goals and wealth in life is not going to fulfill you. Eventually, you'll be like, for me, love, for me, emotional security is much more important than material security. So in your first half of life, because you got to understand Navamsa chart, the D9 chart is pretty much the second half of life from 36 onwards, because that's where Saturn matures. And Saturn receives its full Digbala in the 7th house of marriage. So that's why when 36 happens, not only marriage provides its karma, but also Saturn says now you're mature enough to reap the results of your Navamsa karmas. So from the earth person, for them to keep working, like a machine to accumulate wealth, they will finally realize that all that doesn't matter and if I do not have an emotional connection with someone. And the water ascendant, the 4th pada of a nakshatra in a water sign, will be in fine tune, like you tune the guitar. So guitar is out of sync. So my wife showed me, like you got to tune the guitar because she's a musician, or used to be a musician. You fine tune the guitar, and then when you do the string, it sounds beautiful. I make her play all these Beatles songs on it. What happens with such people is that their guitar is tuned. They are in sync with their emotions. They're in sync with their feminine side. No matter how masculine they are, they know for them life is about nurturing and providing instead of taking like me. Life is about protecting what you love. So that's the very first thing. That's the very first path for you to invoking your Navamsa. So if you're 22 years old, you got this fire ascendant, you're all about taking charge, taking lead, and no, you got to do this because we got to do that. Let's fire these 10,000 people. They'll find some job somewhere. Well, that type of an attitude would eventually be more later on because you will go through certain situations. We'll be like, you know what, we got to care for these 10,000 people that we are about to let go. Is there any way we can save them? What if we take this federal government loan and once this contract happens, we'll pay back the government and we can save the people that, we're about to fire. So that later in life, that emotional, vibration becomes active. Now, one thing that we see, especially when you have the Navamsa itself as Cancer, and we don't even know what ascendant you are. The very first thing that we see is that through marriage and through your own efforts in the second half of life, one will attain a kingly seat, the throne of the lion. And it is Cancer ascendant mainly that has a particular yogas. There are certain yogas that are specific to an ascendant. So for Cancer ascendant, there's a particular yoga known as Simbhasan yoga. Usually happens when 10th Lord Mars is in the 2nd house in the sign of Leo. Creates a Simbhasan yoga. But right now we're not looking at any planet. But what this shows is the seat of lion, seat of the throne. And through marriage, through family, through children, one feels that they are regal and royal. For them, wealth and resources of marriage comes through actually accumulating the love and emotions. Through love, through this close-knit bondage with your spouse, with your children, will automatically put you on a throne. And most definitely resources, when they come in, they stay, they don't leave. Okay, that's something you have to understand. They stay, they don't leave. Such people usually have to put more of a communicative effort in the marriage more than physical effort. For them, communication is the key to unlocking any problem and issue within the marriage. So if marriage is requiring you to put some effort, you don't have to like do something physically or materially. You have to do something through communication. And such people always end up with a beautiful home environment. Even if, let's say, the home environment is destroyed, like let's say you and your spouse hate each other. I'm talking about the physical place that you live in will absolutely be beautiful. Because right now we're not looking at any planets. We're not looking at where the planets are, what's happening. This is simply Cancer ascendant. One will have a very balanced approach to love, relationship, home life. However, especially when you have a Cancer ascendant in Navamsa, you do not have the intelligence to work out the marriage, to work out the situations in the marriage. Communication will be the effort that you will have to put, right? I'm not saying communication is the solution. Communication will be the effort that you'll have to make. You'll have to say something. You'll have to communicate something if something is not right. If you don't, it just makes it worse. But when it comes to how intelligent you are in terms of dealing with a situation within the marriage, not too intelligent. A person usually thinks, a Cancer ascendant person thinks that, you know what? You want to destroy this marriage? Fine, destroy it. Let's just destroy it and let me be on my path, you be on your path. So if things go wrong in a Cancer ascendant individual, they usually take a very stone-like approach towards how things need to be dealt with. They will never back off of the fact that, no, I will compromise within the marriage. I will share things within the marriage. They're like, look, I have been sharing it automatically. That's who I am within the marriage. And now you want me to, through this conflict that we're having, you want me to use my intelligence to be more subservient to you. That's not going to happen. And one thing we also see, that usually such people's children, so if you have a Cancer ascendant in Navamsa, your children will be very revolutionary. They will change something. They will transform something. Or they may end something that was happening. But very revolutionary in a way. These people naturally have the ability to use a very philosophical approach of handling disputes in life. Whether it's in a marriage or not, they have a very philosophical approach. They don't have a set rules that, okay, I'm supposed to do this like A, B, C, and D. There's no like chronological order. For them, if destruction is happening, they will have the philosophical way of dealing with that destruction, that dispute. And especially through marriage or in the second half of life, whether you're married or not, because everybody keeps saying, what if I'm single? It's the same thing. Whether you are married or not, you will always have great mentors to advise you for your disputes in the marriage or disputes in life. You will have great advisors, counselors, attorneys. A Cancer ascendant always runs into great attorneys for themselves. But the thing is, within the marriage, if there is no practical ground, that's when the marriage can fall apart. A Cancer ascendant person in Navamsa specifically will always have a far more practical and masculine, authoritative spouse. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Even if you're a man with Cancer in Navamsa, you are going to be the one throwing emotions, and in return, you will get security and stability. And that's actually what a Cancer person is looking for within the marriage. They're like, I know I'm sensitive and I'm, emotional about things. I need somebody to be a little bit more practical and put some stones in front of me. But the thing is that practicality that they wish for may actually come a bit cold. That relationship aspect, the spouse of this person, may be very either masculine or very corporative, like a corporate natured, business minded individual in life. And it's like a juggle that they deal with. Well, I did wanted a practical spouse and I got it. But at the same time now, well, they're so cold. What do I do? They don't really respond that strongly to that emotional things. But wait, they are actually stable. I'm the one who's emotional. You see how this mental juggling one does. Yet there's also great amount of joint assets that gets accumulated. And one especially has, first of all, one's spouse. So if you're a Cancer ascendant in Navamsa, your spouse will need utmost freedom. If you restrain them that no, you have to follow by my rules, you have to follow by my schedule. If we go somewhere, I want you to contact me every 2 hours, 1 hour. They're not gonna like that. You gotta let them be free. If you're a Cancer ascendant in Navamsa, you have to let them be free. And such people usually always somehow get collective support in times of any despair, in times of any kind of like a dramatic event, some transformation that happens in their life. They always tend to have the support of other people, especially the spouse's family. You will somehow always have some support of the spouse's family, but only if malefics are not present in the 8th house in your Navamsa. Then the support will not be there. And we will discuss all of this, like which malefic planets for a certain ascendant in a certain house will bring what type of, circumstances and situations. And especially within the marriage, the person will love traveling. The more they travel, the better they will feel. And this is actually a great remedy for a Cancer Navamsa. Whenever you travel, whether alone, whether with your spouse, even if you're, let's say, not married, whenever you travel, half your problems get resolved. And especially through traveling, you get huge amounts of inspiration in how to deal with whatever circumstance you're dealing with in your life. But when it comes to dealing with your reputation of your marriage, it's very active. Very active. Because see, reputation of marriage meaning what other people think of you and your marriage. So when they see you and your spouse, what do they think? What they think is actually depending upon the 10th house of Navamsa. And that is in a way where people think that both of you are very adventurous, very active, very much involved in each other's lives. Both are always doing something new, something different, something unique. And most definitely, there's always a, yin yang side to each ascendant. And especially with Cancer, what happens is, if the yang is there, let's say their marriage is very cold, based on some planetary placement, their gains will always be there. Fulfillment of desires will happen in the second half of life. Especially through females, especially through network circles and recognition. their fame will come and their gains will come. But one of the shortcomings of Navamsa Cancer ascendant people is that whatever they want to communicate within the marriage, whatever they want to speak of within the marriage, they keep it within themselves. And they just don't know how to bring it out. And especially whenever they travel, most of their expenses, most of the energy that gets exerted either happens with travel, donations. They give huge donations, and through bed pleasures. The bed pleasure has to be there for a Cancer ascendant Navamsa. And especially whenever a Cancer ascendant Navamsa is there. Now, this is not something that happens to everybody, but whatever charts that I look at, whatever, let's say, nakshatra readings that I do, most of them early in life, like before 28, 27, whomever they were in a relationship with may leave them for a third party or get seduced by a third party. And that usually happens due to the emotional instability of a Cancer Navamsa early in life. Because see, Navamsa becomes active at 36. But Navamsa is still always working. You don't realize it, or you realize it, but you don't really get to feel those Navamsa planets until you're 36. But the thing is, the mistakes that a person makes early in life without truly understanding themselves within happens through Navamsa. And because of that, due to their own perhaps lack of self-confidence or emotional clinginess, they can detach the person in their life early on. And this is why a Cancer Navamsa usually tends to get married late. They have relationships, of course. It's not like they're barren, but they tend to get married late. And usually we always see, whether it's a man or woman, the spouse will always display the more mature attitude towards life. They may be either mature in age, or they may most definitely 100% will be more mature in mentality, in dealing with situations. And we also see that with Cancer Navamsa people, no matter how many downfalls they have in their life, they always come back up. So let's say you're a Cancer Navamsa, you lost your wealth twice in life, big wealth, but you brought it back up again. And you brought it back up bigger than the last time. So one thing we see, that Cancer people always gain materially. More than emotionally, they gain materially, which balances out that lack of, that emotional camaraderie. But due to certain planets, planetary positions, it could be a blessed life. So usually Cancer Navamsa is a blessings of a Devi. These blessings of, I forgot, it was Lakshmi or Saraswati. I believe it's Saraswati. Blessings of a Saraswati. Like, especially when it comes to gaining all kinds of knowledge to attain gains. Cancer ascendant person, like here, there is a saying for this Navamsa, is that your hand will always be like this, not like this. See, means you're begging for something. This means you're giving something. So Cancer ascendant in Navamsa is always like this in life. But also, one of the biggest things you have to know is that your life starts at 33. All the prosperity in life, all the major big events that happens after 33 for Cancer Navamsa. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Cancer Navamsa.